In today's news, CCT Cares gives back to BVI Cancer Society.
HLSCC partners with Johnson's and Wills University.
The Premier's office relocates.
Dr. Richard Georges joins us live in studio for an exclusive of his latest book. And there's a new table-setting champion in the BVI. Find out who it is when 284 News returns.
The Mighty Sparrow.
Chocolate City, Tortola's BVI. I'm coming to you. You ready? November 16, 2019. It's Tico's 50th anniversary and celebrating Tico Calypso. You hear me? A community calypso fundraiser. I can't wait to see. It's going to be fantastico.
Yankees gonna sparrow take over.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
When you need to stay connected with friends and families at home or abroad, the best choice for you is Freedom. CCT Freedom. With the lowest rates in the market, our Freedom plan gives you unlimited calls and texting. Plus, our Freedom One package includes 10 gigabits of super fast, unlimited LTE data and unlimited calls to the BVI, USA, USVI, Canada, Puerto Rico, and UK lines. Why pay for overages when you can enjoy CCT Freedom? Stop by at one of our stores today and speak with one of our representatives to find out more about our CCT Freedom packages.
Welcome everybody. It's Wednesday, November 6, 2019. I'm Ron Grant.
And I'm Kyla Kinisha Forbes.
Another beautiful day, Kyla, in the British Virgin Islands.
Definitely.
So you went to the Nyaman event last night.
Yes,
Tell me all
I
about
did.
it.
It was amazing, Ron.
Okay.
Great food, games, and it was just really and truly just a great event coming together and experience BVI culture. It was actually the first experience that Nyaming had in the BVI. Nyaming is a supper club that's in the UK,
Yes.
co-founded by 3 BVI lenders, and last night they hosted an experience for their family and friends.
Wonderful.
It was amazing. They had oxtail lasagna, and I
heard about that oxtail
definitely-
lasagna. We got to try that.
I loved it.
Awesome. Well, we actually have a clip of the event. We're going to take a toss to that. Check it out. That's a lot of good food, Kyla.
It was.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. And November is Food Month, so there's going to be a lot of that going on. Topping our newscast today, this past weekend, Scrub Island Resort came alive as the 2019 Janice Blyden table setting competition took center stage. By the end of the evening, it was Carla Ramshadram who emerged as the winner of the 2019 competition, which returned after a 2-year hiatus. The competition is one which seeks to showcase the students' table setting techniques and creativity and their ability to host. It is part of the BVI's Food Fest month-long activities. It is designed to craft awareness around the wide spectrum of culinary arts in the Virgin Islands. Now, Kyla, the table setting competition is more than 10 years old, and students receive a vast amount of training prior to the competition that allows them to take these skills beyond the competition. The training takes the form of a 1-week session with veteran professionals in the culinary, hospitality, and service industry. The participants taught kitchen etiquette, proper table setting methods for up to 4 persons and 3 courses each. Additionally, they learned how to serve 3-course meals along with beverages. The competition was open to all secondary school students in the Virgin Islands. Congratulations on a job well done to the students, and not only them, but Miss Natalie Penn and the BVI Tourist Board for once again putting on a wonderful event. but one that really speaks to our desire to train and birth hospitality professionals in the British Virgin Islands. I think it's a great initiative.
Definitely. Love it. On Tuesday, 5th November 2019, CCT BVI presented a check to the BVI Cancer Society. CCT's Public Relations and Marketing Coordinator, Jerry Hopkins, presented the check to BVI Cancer Society's Treasurer, Miss Sylvia Moses. CCT ran a promotion for the entire month of October, which was aimed towards raising funds and promoting breast cancer awareness. Ms. Hopkins stated how delighted they were to partner with the BVI Cancer Society. CCT, along with many other businesses in the BVI, continue to contribute to worthy causes and organizations. The president of the BVI Cancer Society expressed her appreciation by saying, "We are truly appreciative for CCT's continued and generous donations. They have continued to donate to us in one form or another, and this donation will help us to continue to provide resources to assist cancer patients." We here at 284 Media is really happy to see the community
Indeed.
continue to support the BVI Cancer Society and the resounding work they do in our community, Ron.
Absolutely, definitely. We have a number of nonprofit organizations, but they would not be what they are without the contributions and sacrifices of many of the community members.
Yes.
And speaking of community service, CCT received the Community Spirit Award from the Family Support Network for their generosity and compassion over the years. Up on the screen is a picture of representatives from 284 Media, CCT, and FSN. We also want to take this time to congratulate FSN for celebrating 30 years of heartfelt service to the British Virgin Islands. They do amazing, amazing work. Keep it up, guys.
Definitely. Still ahead, Premier's office to relocate, and HLSCC partners with Johnson and Wales University. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year. Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
We will live well.
When you need to stay connected with friends and families at home or abroad, the best choice for you is Freedom. CCT Freedom. With the lowest rates in the market, our Freedom plan gives you unlimited calls and texting. Plus, our Freedom One package includes 10 gigabits of super fast, unlimited LTE data and unlimited calls to the BVI, USA, USVI, Canada, Puerto Rico, and UK lines. Why pay for overages when you can enjoy CCT Freedom? Stop by at one of our stores today and speak with one of our representatives to find out more about our CCT Freedom packages.
Viewers, welcome back. A recent cabinet report revealed that the government of the Virgin Islands has decided to enter into a lease agreement with the Lake Development Company Limited. The lease is a 5-year agreement totaling more than $1.2 million for the rental accommodation for the Office of the Premier. The new office will be located in the Cutlass Tower on Waterfront Drive in Road Town. The cabinet statement further outlined that the lease covers 2 floors of the building. The Premier's office will rent 1 floor for 3 years and another for 5 years. According to Premier Foy, the spaces have been temporarily leased to facilitate repairs to the Central Administration Complex in Road Town. Additionally, he made it clear that everyone has to vacate the Central Administration Complex to facilitate the repairs. It is not clear where departments will be locating and ministries to put the process of relocating, but it's not one that we can avoid. It's inevitable. Members of the public have questioned whether the repairs to the administration complex will take the full 5 years of the lease, and that's actually a good question, Kyla. So we hope that these will be answered shortly.
Hopefully. The faculty of the H. Laverty Stout Community College continues to make strides towards finding opportunities and incentives for their graduates. Acting President of HLSCC, Dr. Richard Georges, who is actually here in studio with us today, said that the goal is to raise the profile of the college in terms of opportunities available to their graduates. HLSCC and Johnson & Wales University have signed a memorandum of understanding on that same day, an MOU was also signed between Johnson & Wales and the Ministry of Education, both presenting great opportunities for the students of the Virgin Islands, Ron.
Indeed.
The MOU signed between HLSCC and JWU grants HLSCC graduates guaranteed admission to JWU. The Guaranteed Admissions Program, which is known as GAP, creates a seamless admission process for transfer students intending to complete a bachelor's degree at Johnson & Wales University. Under GAP, HLSCC graduates can transfer directly into the following programs with a junior status. These programs are Business Studies, Liberal Studies, and Culinary Art. Also, graduates transferring from JWU under the GAP program with a grade point average of 2.5 and higher will be eligible for $7,500 in scholarships. Great stuff. The Memorandum of Understanding between Johnson & Wales University and the Ministry of Education speaks to ways that the two institutions can fund HLSCC graduates that academically excel to attend JWU. Minister of Education, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, indicates that he recognized the challenges in providing scholarships for students attending school abroad. Either the room and board isn't financially covered or the tuition is too high. The scholarship becomes inadequate. However, Dr. Wheatley relays how grateful he was to witness and be a part of such a visionary initiative to address such matters. The government is committed through HLSCC to providing scholarships for further studies to facilitate the training of the most precious resource, which is actually our human resource.
Indeed. I think this is a great initiative, Kyla, and I love to see the continued partnership with other universities because, as the minister mentioned, sometimes as it pertains to continuing your education, it's a challenge for a lot of our students, and even though they might receive some level of a grant or funding from the government of the Virgin Islands, it doesn't always mean
realistically, sometimes it's not enough. So initiatives like this is really important, and I think it's great. Up next, local author Dr. Richard Georges joins us live in studio.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services. One-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
Viewers, welcome back. As promised, live in studio with us here today is local author Dr. Richard Georges. Ron, take it away.
Thank you so much, Kyla. Viewers, you know him as Dr. Richard Georges, the president of the H. Laverty Stout Community College, but he is also a lecturer. Richard Georges is a writer of poetry, fiction, and essays. His debut collection of poems, Make Us All Islands, was shortlisted for the Ford Prize for Best Collection, and his second book, Giant, was longlisted for the Bocuse Prize for Caribbean Literature. Epiphania is his third book of poems and has recently been released by Outspoken Press. Richard is also a founding editor of MOCO, a journal of Caribbean art and letters. Dr. Jordes, welcome to 284 Media.
Thank you for having me.
So it's been 2 years, almost 3 years since the passage of Hurricanes Irma and Maria, and you have recently released your third piece. Tell us, first of all, what prompted you, and why were you so confident in releasing another piece of work, being so vulnerable and releasing another piece of work to the beautiful people of the territory?
What prompted me? I think is probably, I would come from a different direction. I think I had a certain discipline when it comes to writing.
Okay.
So I, up until recently, when my professional circumstances have changed,
yes,
that kind of preclude that kind of time being carved out. But I, for a number of years, have kind of carved out a chunk of time, daily, weekly, whereby I write.
Okay.
And I set time aside specifically for the writing process.
Okay.
So I done it originally for my own studies, and once the studies were completed, I kind of just retained that kind of ethic, whether it was at night before bed or on the weekends especially, where I could just, set time aside for my craft.
Okay.
So it wasn't so much that, that I was being prompted per se, sometimes I was just
the discipline was there, so you continued with it.
Right. So, for example, I had mentioned in other venues when asked about the apparent productivity is not so much as that, for example, when I finish a manuscript and I submit to a publisher, it usually would take, give or take, about a year after a publisher accepts a work until the date of publication. And in that period of time, I am still working. Okay. So even when it comes to when the publication is accepted, I might have submitted it 3 to 6 months prior to that date. So in that space where I've completed a work, there's still a lot of time to produce more work.
A lot of time to write, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what was going on in terms of my my ethic when it comes to writing.
Understood.
So it just so happened that, given the circumstances that we were living, that was, what else was it to write about besides what it is you were living? So at the time that Irma and Maria passed, the second book had been accepted and was due for publication the following year. And I had started working on a third collection already. Okay. I didn't know what it was. I just knew I was writing poems that may or may not have been connected to something larger. So as it happened, I think about 15 of the poems I worked on in that space of time between the publication of the first book and, I would say, early 2018, I was producing work that would eventually come towards the publication of this third book. But there's still poems that I worked on in that time that didn't fit into the project. So they're kind of like, off to the side doing their own thing still.
So tell us about it. Tell us about your third piece of work.
Okay, so Epiphania is sort of a meditation on, I would say, home, the concept of home and belonging, the concept of resilience and recovery and trauma and how we repair ourselves from that trauma. And I think it's something that I have sort of always written about, especially in this space.
Okay.
And I'm always concerned about not just landscape and history, but the contemporary lives and how we inhabit a space that has existed for thousands of years, and that many other people have trod in these paths before us. And I'm always thinking of how our lives intersect with those past lives and those past, almost forgotten experiences.
Of course.
So Epiphania kind of does the same thing. And I would say the first book looks at certain historical periods and how they intersect with the sea and how the sea's always kind of sustained us.
Okay.
But I've always looked at the sea and the environment as a sort of apathetic sort of energy, right? So in other words, the sea, the sky can sustain, right? In other words, you can fish, you can hunt, you can farm, you can provide for yourself. But at the same time, all of those elemental forces can still be forces of destruction.
Understand.
Whether they're earthquake, floods, tsunamis, hurricanes. So I'm always looking at that tension, how like the earth that we inhabit is almost apathetic.
Okay. So now that you've completed your third piece of work, as you look back, what would you like persons in the BVI and of course wider regionally and internationally, what do you want them to take away from this very intimate piece of work?
Well, in terms of, I think I would have two different sorts of concerns with respect to us here and those there.
Okay.
Right. So I think in terms of regionally, I'm just concerned with. Well, let me start locally. Have been an advocate and a sort of encourager on the sidelines of many of our other, especially the younger writers.
Yes.
Because I have a sort of stance that, while it serves us locally to publish, self-publish and to self-promote and to raise awareness locally, that's fine. But I think we need to engage our work on an international,
of course,
level. I think we need to be looking to publish poetry, fiction, drama, film, etc., on a global scale, because that's the world that we exist in today. But further than that, I think it's important for us to tell our story, not just in an echo chamber per se, but that we need to register in the wider conversation. There are lots of overlaps. There are lots of resonances and similar experiences that we can find fellowship with in the Caribbean, in other island communities, and the broader world. And we can't do that if we just keep talking to ourselves.
Agreed. Now, you spoke a little bit about discipline earlier on, and you just touched on young writers. What encouragement would you give to young writers in the territory who might be a little bit apprehensive about putting themselves out there, a bit reserved in regards to how much they're willing to share? What encouragement would you give to them?
Well, I would say in terms of if you have a talent to write, the analogy I would make is if you look at a professional athlete, right? So they have this God-given gift, right? And I would make the statement that you almost have an obligation to fulfill that gift that you have been given. So thereby it is not there's not enough to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
It's not enough to do it in a space where many people don't get appreciated. But even more seriously than that, it's not enough. I don't think it is. I almost think as if you have a moral obligation to develop and hone that skill. So I think of it that way. So, so in other words, if you are good at basketball, you can have an intrinsic talent for basketball. You might have the hand-eye coordination, the agility, and the dexterity to be naturally good or proficient at basketball. But in order to become, greater,
of course,
a certain degree of discipline and sacrifice is required.
Most definitely.
And I think, in the same way, for the arts and the literary arts, you might have a certain proficiency and talent with words, but in order to become greater, a certain degree of discipline and sacrifice is required.
Well, viewers, you heard it here first. Discipline is the key. Dr. Georges, before you go, I would like you to choose a piece and read it for us.
Oh, for sure. I'll read a poem called Altricial, which is one of the poems that comes out of the stone.
Okay.
Remind me again the way you carry your people, your family, through the stark silence of the years. How the village grows, what brilliance can be found in it, and how toil can mean something, how burdens were always meant to be laid down somewhere cool and grassy, that the unspooling years must mean something besides the laughing stars. Again, tell me how a soul moves through the body the same way bodies move through space, unthinking and bravely, like something wild, beating waves in the current. This is not and has never been an ending thing. Birds do not know where they will land when they fly, yet few fall like too ripe fruit from the sky. The astonishment of exhaustion, winds too strong to buffet, of God giving more than their fragility can hope to bear. Remind me again how people become weights, or how they become feathers, then wings. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, and thank you for stopping by 284 Media.
Not a problem. Thanks.
Thank you, Ron. That's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to like us on Facebook at 284 Media and 284 BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kyla Kenesha Forbes, and today I was alongside the dapper Ron Grant. We'll see you again tomorrow as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news right here on 284 Media. Happy Wednesday, everybody, and have a good evening.
What are you really running for, boss? You could have bust a hole in your head. But see, with the competition, which means about to bust a hole in your pocket.
I could get my modem, please.
Anyhow, I got something huge to show you.
I gotta be sick in your head.
Well, hold on, string bean. Ain't a kind of party. Check this. That's LTE1 for just about everyone. LTE2 for you and your boo. And hold on. Bam! Rate so low, you feel like you're free. That's LTE3 for you and the whole family.
Save even more on your internet with new pricing from CCT. Get LTE2 now for only $149. Get LTE free for the new low price of $189. All packages are unlimited, so there's no overage charge. You don't have to run into Chaz for savings. Just stop by our store and sign up today. Come on over to CCT. Life Unlimited.
Hello?
Wait, you had a lunch and care? You don't say you were sick? What happened to over the rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
All right, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll see you later.
Bye.
Okay, honey. I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.